Today we're looking at equations that are very similar to what we looked at yesterday. We're looking at equations in slope-intercept form. Kenna, do you remember what slope-intercept form is?
It's kind of like y equals b. No, mx plus b.
Okay.
Please don't ask me that question.
Okay. All right. So the m represents the what? The
Slope.
And the b represents the
y-intercept.
All right. Stop. So same process as yesterday. First thing we're going to do. Graph the y-intercept. Yesterday our y-intercept was always what value?
0.
0. So we always start at the origin. Today it's not necessarily going to start at the origin. So then the second step is to use the slope to find the next point. So the directions read state the slope and the y-intercept and graph the equation. So we need the slope and the y-intercept. So the first example, y equals 1/3 x plus 5. So Isabella, what's our slope?
1/3.
Okay. And what's our y-intercept?
5.
5. So the first thing we graph is the y-intercept. It's 5, so that means we need to go up the y-axis 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make your dot. And from the y-intercept, we use our rise and run of our slope to find the next point. So our rise is 1, so we count up 1, and then over 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Yep.
from
From the y-intercept, which is what we did yesterday, except yesterday.
Would you like one? I will go get them.
Yes.
Yesterday our y-intercept was always 0, so that's why we started at the origin. Alright, example 2. Virgil, what's our slope?
2/3.
And what's our y-intercept?
4. -4.
-4. So we're starting with the y-intercept. We need to go down the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make the dot. And from there we use the rise and the run of the slope. So we go up how many?
Up to.
Up to 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. Should our line be heading upwards?
Precisely.
Why?
Because
Positive. We have a slope that's positive. All right, example 3. Becca, what's our slope?
2.
How do we write that as a fraction?
2/1.
And what is our y-intercept?
1.
Okay, so where are we going to start?
We are going to start going up 1.
Yes. And now we use our rise and our run. So how many are we going to go up?
2.
1, 2, over 1. And I have a positive slope. Should I have a positive slope?
Yes,
Yes.
because the slope is positive.
Okay. Example 4. Will, what's my slope?
6/1.
Yep. And my y-intercept?
0.
It is 0. So where am I going to put my first point?
Origin.
At the origin. Annie, what's my rise?
6.
Okay, so I count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I go over how many?
1.
1. questions so far? Example 5. Connor, what's my slope?
Slope would be 2. No, it would be -4/3.
Okay.
And then
My y-intercept?
would be 2.
Okay. So what am I going to graph
You're
first?
gonna plot 2, and then you're gonna go -4/3.
After I plot the 2, I'm going to do what?
You're gonna move down 4, and then over 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 1, 2, 3.
Horrible at doing this one. It's very off of my.
Now, my slope is heading downwards on this one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
C.
Why?
Because there is -4.
Okay. Example 6. Matt, what's my slope?
-5/1.
Okay. And my y-intercept?
4.
Okay. So where am I going to put my first point?
At the 4.
At the 4. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there?
Down 5.
Down
Down
5.
5 over 1.
Over 1.
And over 1.
Wait, we don't start at the origin? No, not every time.
Because the y-intercept isn't 0.
We start with the y-intercept. Yesterday, our y-intercept was 0. Any questions?
No, mine.
All right. Example 7 says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form with a slope of -4/3 and a y-intercept of 2. So we need to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Kenna, what's slope-intercept form?
Y equals mx+b.
Nice. And the m represents the what?
Slope.
And the b represents the?
Y-intercept.
So our equation can be written y equals,
-4/3
okay?
plus
X plus
X plus
2.
And we got our y-intercept right here. All right, example 8. M equals 2, b equals 4. So our equation would be?
Y equals 2 over 1. Wouldn't you still do 2 over 1 though?
You can. You can write it like this. Y equals 2 over 1x minus 4. These are equivalent equations. Okay? You can write the 2 as 2 over 1. You can write the plus -4 as a -4.
Wait,
They are
why didn't you
equivalent.
put the plus sign?
Because you don't have to, because you're...
You have a positive and a negative, which gives you a negative. So it's okay to write it that way. Example 9. State the slope and the y-intercept of the following equations. So A, my slope is,
2 over 3.
and my y-intercept,
Minus.
-6 is fine. B, Bree, what's my slope?
-3.
If you want to write it as a fraction, how would you write it? -3 over 1. And my y-intercept?
7.
All right, C. Devin, can you tell me the slope on C?
Negative. No.
No?
Wouldn't it
Is
just
it
be
negative
0?
-1?
It is -1.
Yeah.
Remember when there's no number in front of the x, we have an imaginary 1 there, because 1 times x is x. So if you have the minus sign or the negative sign in front of it, it's a -1 times x. What's our y-intercept? 2. D, what is our slope?
-7 over 1.
How many think it's -7? How many think it's 0? Zeros have it.
I don't get
What is this equation missing?
An X.
There's no x. So that tells you that this is a horizontal line. So when we have a horizontal line, you have a slope of 0. And it hits the y-axis where?
At the 7. -7.
At the -7.